welcome back to Anime Academy. Now that we've learned some of the fundamental principles of animation, it's time to learn what makes anime different from other kinds of animation. One of the biggest differences is limited animation. In 1963, making a TV anime seemed impossible due to the tight budgets that weekly schedules required. But when Osamu Tezuka made the first full-length TV anime Astro Boy, he used lots of cost-cutting techniques to help bring down costs enough that it could be completed on a schedule almost every week. As the industry grew, these techniques weren't always necessary anymore, but they stuck around as a part of the tradition of Japanese animation. Nowadays, anime is defined by its limited animation style, even in big-budget feature films. But what do we mean when we say limited animation? It sounds like it might be a bad thing, but it's really not. As we mentioned in episode 1, a second of film usually has 24 frames in it. An animator could make a new drawing every frame, but then a 24-minute anime episode could require 30,000 drawings or more, and that is a lot of work. That's why most animation uses lower frame rates. If the animator uses a new drawing every other frame for a rate of 12 frames per second, the motion will be a bit less smooth and will save time on drawings, but it will usually still look pretty realistic. Limited animation takes this a step further. Animators sometimes use frame rates as low as 8 or 6 frames per second. Sometimes they also split characters into parts and only animate the parts that need to move. For example, in most anime, complex mouth motions are replaced with simple up and down flaps, and some artists even avoid drawing simple flaps by replacing objects in front of characters' mouths. But a lower frame rate doesn't mean that a piece of animation is lower quality. Lowering the frame rate is a creative choice that can open up lots of interesting possibilities for animators. Fewer frames mean more time spent on each frame. That can translate to even more detailed drawings or even more ambitious camera angles and character poses. Plus, frame rates can combine with timing, spacing, and other animation principles to subtly change how emotion comes across to the audience. Higher frame rates make things feel smooth and graceful, while lower frame rates make them feel rough and blocky, but sometimes that's exactly what you want. One of anime's most distinctive features is the way animators dynamically modify the frame rate. Rather than sticking to just 1 or 2 rates for the whole show, they change things up for different characters or even within a single scene. This is called frame rate modulation and was popularized by the Toei and Ghibli animator Yasuo Otsuka in the 60s and 70s. He introduced the more free-spirited jazz-like rhythm to animation that helped make anime what it is today. Frame rates can be hard to notice if you're not an animator, so believe it or not, the easiest way to see them in action is to get rid of them. If you have a TV with motion interpolation, try turning it on for an anime episode. You might notice that everything seems to move at the wrong speed. That's because your TV is blowing away the animator's frame rate choices, replacing them all with the ultra-high rate of 60 frames per second. So the lesson is always turn motion interpolation off when watching anime. There are lots of other things that make anime a unique art form: its character design, its approach to action, and much more. We'll be tackling some of these in future episodes, so stay tuned. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment with any frame rate choices in anime that stick out to you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!